All right, now there's the thing in the top right corner. You got rid of that. That's okay. You're just
Yeah.
gotcha. I don't like watching myself do things in the past.
Well, then
It's
don't.
kind of weird.
The past doesn't
Kind
exist,
of
bro.
weird, man.
The past
Kind of
doesn't
fucking weird.
exist, bro.
It doesn't exist. You're absolutely right.
All right. So basically,
Congratulations.
we're gonna basically talk about the idea of coming up with your own reason to not be an asshole or a
Right.
dick. That's where the don't be a dick principle comes from, because I don't like principles. I don't like the way they're used. Because oftentimes it becomes a destination when really it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. And that's why I created my own. A long time ago, actually. Very, very long time ago.
I dropped in that Let's Be Talk About Anarchy group too.
Yeah, if you go to the YouTube page on your phone, actually, can you manage the comments?
We need to manage the comments. I'm not. No, this is on the Agora.
I know, but you can still see the comments.
Right. I told you that's exactly what I'm doing.
Oh, okay.
We do have watchers, so we better get going here.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Agora. It's quite a fantastic place. This is a place where nothing really applies except what you wish, and if it's bad, it won't be here because we're fucking awesome. I'm not
Make
full
sure I
of
get
myself.
my status Detroit in there.
Detroit.
My voluntary shirt that I actually got 2 of these from Kokesh.
Aww.
Yeah, I only ordered 1, but they must have had some kind of error, and I got 2. I got 2 of the books, 2 of that, and I guess I got 2 of the. They don't give you the tickets because I bought the ticket to meet him backstage or before the thing on
Yeah,
Sunday.
give him a little blowy before the show starts.
Yeah, essentially, of course. And they don't give you a ticket, so I imagine they write down your name or something like that.
I'm trying to pull up the freaking YouTube.
Don't worry about it. I got it.
Yeah, alright, whatever. Fuck it.
I need to.
But
I got it.
we're talking about the idea. Well, I like to pit the DBAD against the non-aggression principle, because the non-aggression principle really just kind of, when you get into the nitty-gritty, it falls apart, or it doesn't really help you. And when things start to not help you, they hurt you. Especially in an argument when the other person doesn't quite buy it. And I ran into this problem earlier with a little bit of a moral conundrum. Basically, all I was trying to say was that animals and humans, humans are animals. So I got posed the question: if your family was starving and you fed my daughter to them, should you be held accountable? And I'm like, well, I wouldn't leave witnesses. Because one, how am I an authority to determine how to hold people accountable? For starters. And that was the whole point. It went on this whole spiel of ridiculousness because they were just so steadfast. It's actually kind of impressive how the grip on this concept that isn't their own, something they believe to be objectively true, and that's what's scary.
Yeah.
That's what's scary to me. Because what I don't mind is when someone's, say morality is objective, but then they begin to describe how they interpret it, how they feel that way, or why it means that way to them.
Right.
Because they made it their own. And that I can deal with, because then we're talking idea to idea, not my idea to some interpretation of someone else's idea. Yeah, makes sense? It does to me. But personally, I came up with my own principle called "Don't be a dick," the DBAD principle. Oh God, I don't even have it written down. I can't pull it up.
Well, I can.
You can? Yeah, you pull it up.
Paul says it sounds okay, so I'm guessing that means good by Paul's standard.
Well, Paul's standard. He understands. There's a Yeti ass microphone.
Right. Where did you put that? In our so the DBAD, Bodhi's essential guide, the DBAD principle. Don't be a dick. Attack ideas, not people. Let me elaborate on that. When you call me a oath-keeping welfare whore because
Jared,
I said
how?
and cats, yes, Jared Howe, the guy who's always searching for justifications to rape children. I didn't say he wanted to.
But he is searching for that answer.
He is searching for that. He consistently goes to that. It's a search for it.
It's quite scary. Well, it's actually interesting.
It is. It's interesting. I'm not suggesting he's a rapist or implying he's a child rapist. I don't think he is. He just uses that as his compass to decide on a principle, right? So yeah, when you call me an oath-keeping welfare, or you say something about military acronyms, military children, blah 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 blah. I'm not a military child, first off. Sand's ideas proceed with awareness of the audience.
That means gloves come off.
Right.
Gloves come off when they don't have an idea of their own. Swing for the fences.
That's when you get attacked.
Mm-hmm. That's when your ideas are attacked, your personhood is attacked, and brought in your integrity is brought into question. Of course, fight back. That's self-defense.
Let go of preconceived notions.
Basically means whatever was, don't even worry about it. Worry about in the moment, and you'll learn. If you let go of what you once knew and can work in the moment, you might actually teach each other something.
Awareness is wrought at a deficit.
Mm-hmm. I mean, everything costs something. And even if you choose your parents, no matter what, the amount of energy required to produce the sperm and the egg and then the birth and all that crap, you're coming into this world having consumed.
Yep.
Right? So I've heard that, actually, when I talked to a hypnotherapist, I actually talked to her about marketing. Yeah, we ended up getting into all of this. It's cool. Essentially, even if you have the concept of choosing your parents and doing all that, life and awareness still begins at a negative. Be aware of that. You cost something.
Are we moving on here?
5, 4.
Definitions and observations are not destinations.
The convenience of convention is but a starting point for understanding, hoping that we kind of have the same idea. More often than not, we don't.
No one deserves anything, moral or otherwise, and that's fucking true.
You don't deserve to even be alive. You don't deserve your life. You don't deserve your body. You don't deserve any of that. But you also don't deserve to be mistreated. You also don't deserve to have your life taken from you. That's your decision, essentially.
Right.
Or even whatever authority you end up appealing to.
Right.
And
the final one,
that actually leaves room for God, but I won't get into that.
It does. Watch the world burn anyway.
Because it doesn't matter what the fuck you do. People suck.
Watch it. I kind of want to set it on fire. I like the Joker. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Right.
It's a beautiful sight, by the way.
There's
and of
something
course,
about...
we capped that off with nothing exists, so why be a dick about it?
Why be a dick? Why make it necessarily worse? We've already started at a loss. We're already starting at not understanding each other. We're already starting at different ideas. We're already starting not deserving a damn thing.
Right.
So pull your head out of your asshole. You know? Don't ask me to fill in the blank. What kind of childish crap is that? Come at me with a real idea. Your idea. Why don't you fill in the blank?
Absolutely. I'm just forwarding this here. There we go. I don't even have the live stream pulled up right now. I don't think anyone's commenting though. No.
No.
Oh, here we go. Okay is good. Okay is good, all things considered. Paul asks, is it objectively true that humanity should strive to survive? Buddy?
Ooh. No, I don't think so. I don't think so because for what purpose would we survive? We don't quite know. We don't quite know. We can convince ourselves, and it doesn't mean it's wrong. But it's kind of dangerous for me because I can't say that I have any more right than any other species.
Right.
And that's why I kind of put I put humans at the animal level, because well, we are an animal. We just happen to have the ability to communicate a little bit better than most. But personally, I know everybody thinks I'm crazy. I've heard the comments. I love them,
well,
especially the ones I wasn't supposed to hear.
Oh,
but,
yeah, those are the best.
Those are the best.
That,
but I've even spoken with animals. You can speak, they might not understand. You can reason with them. You can reason with animals, whether they respond or not. It's really up to your interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I love it because I like to have the discussion. I like to question it, and I'm always questioning myself. I'm always questioning Dylan. Dylan questions me quite a bit. We don't agree on things because we just listen and that's it. We hash it out, and we make sure our arguments are stronger.
We actually agree on things because we don't agree.
Right.
I know that might be hard to kind of comprehend.
And that's kind of this whole idea of the agora as this kind of melting pot. Basically, I want to be able to include everyone. Why have I reached out to commies and syndicalists and agorists and even NCAPs, even though when I extend my hand, they hand me a $1 bill? Right. I'm begging. No, I don't need your fucking help. I'm saying, why don't you come along so you can survive? Why don't we work together, dipshit?
No, we can't do that. No.
I have a mohawk and everything, man. Like, how much
because,
more anarcho? You know why?
Because some people aren't real anarchists, and somehow someone has the authority to decide that, I guess. Yeah. But logic is an authority, according to Jared Howe.
Right, because it applies itself.
Right. So, what if my logic's different from Bodhi's logic? Because it is.
And I'm the crazy one, and I expect nothingness to enforce itself? I mean, I hear, I feel the void calling. It only calls.
It's calling right now.
Ring, 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 ring. Hello, this is the void. Yes? Nothing exists. Oh, shit! Click. Nothing happened. Get it? Nothing happened.
Nothing.
You have to make it happen. You know? I wear my heart on my chest, not my sleeve.
Paul also added that this seems to be the centerpiece of those who claim objective morality, is the survival. I'm assuming that's what he was talking about.
Right, and it's like they're afraid to face it. And that's what I ended up getting to. The end of that conversation with talking about eating this guy's daughter. It's fucking absurd.
What the fuck?
I don't understand why you would even use your own daughter. Like, I would just say little girl. You made it really personal.
Well,
it's
emotional. It's an emotional.
Yeah, for him, though. I don't give a fuck.
But he's trying to draw, make you emotional because you won't say anything about his daughter.
Right, but if she was
That's the whole point.
tasty, if she was tasty, and I didn't have anyone around, and I was starving, I might. I don't know.
I don't know if I can
I've
bring
never
myself
been
to
in
do
that
it, but you know
position.
what? There's plenty of humans who have.
There are plenty of humans who have. There's plenty of tribes that contract the human equivalent of mad cow.
Well, some of them do that voluntarily. Some of the tribes. Some of them it's just part of their culture.
Right. Well, part of that is consuming your enemy, consuming their spirit and building on it. And that's a great concept, but not literally. That's where you
I
lose me.
posted it in the comments there. So let's go. I'm gonna go to some of these comments on this guy Chris, Gabe McDonald and Chris Inpropian, I guess is his name. We're going back and forth on it. Anyway, so if anyone's commenting, I'm not seeing it right now because I'm gonna go through some of these comments. So my original post, the OP, because we all know OP is a colossal.
Oh wait, we're live. I don't want to ruin the video.
Yeah. ANCAPs are looking less. Oh, wait, we were just talking about eating people's children.
That's okay, but you can't say the F word.
Right? ANCAPs are looking less appealing every day. This is all I said initially. Remember this.
Less appealing.
ANCAPs are looking less appealing every day. Less.
Not more.
But Jared Howe later said they might look unappealing. I didn't say unappealing. I said less appealing. Less appealing. You tard. All right. Where some search if there is, I'm continuing my OP.
Sorry.
Where some search if there is a justification for raping children, others for eating children, and claim anarchism, yet seem to believe they have authority over anarchism because now.
I never told you what to believe.
Right, and someone comes in later and they're like, the post he's referring to, there is not a single post I'm referring to. I'm referring to many posts
over the last couple months.
Right. This is a build up to this video.
And
it's not just one post. I understand Wayne Mitchell, right? Why you thought that. I do.
Oh, Wayne, yeah. I really like Wayne. I had some
too.
cool conversations with him. And I didn't have anything wrong with what he was saying. I think we had a more reasonable conversation. Like, I love to do that. I like to talk to different ideas. Notice I didn't say people. I don't like people. I like ideas.
So I want to read this last comment from Ray Murphy. He said, not all principles must be first principles, and not all of your stances have to be based in principle. I like the color red. What, am I an unprincipled fuck? I am. Or what an unprincipled fuck I am. Killing kids is fucked up, yes. Even if it doesn't technically violate the NAP because they aren't fully autonomous moral agents or whatever the fuck you want to use to nitpick.
Bam. Whatever the fuck you want to use to nitpick. Basically, you're using the NAP as a vehicle to be a cunt. And I can say that other than the F word.
I'm just going to say boom to Ray Murphy.
Bravo, Ray Murphy.
Bra fucking O.
Somebody gets it.
Right. State of the weight comment. Oh, I see what Paul's doing now. Agree or disagree? The foundation to a moral code begins with the choice to live or not to live. Once you choose to live, a moral code begins to form. Agree or disagree?
I would agree because personally, as soon as you choose to accept your life, you're starting to sort it out. You're deciding for yourself. Just because it's a moral code doesn't make it a bad thing. We're not railing against an actual moral code. I'm railing against objective morality, that there's this constant thing and all these answers have to be, and we can justify ourselves enforcing them. And it gets really tricky. Good question.
No, it's a great question. And I would also have to agree. Now I wonder, when does someone choose to live? It's interesting.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the when I was pretty, I don't want to say hardcore, but I was a Christian, and I went to a Free Will Baptist church. I was baptized and everything.
I went to
there was this debate over when someone is able to make a choice to accept Jesus into their heart. Because if you don't accept Jesus into your heart, under that, that's the way I grew up. I'm not talking about the entirety of Christianity. I'm talking about the way I was grown up and the way I learned and what I believed at the time is you would go to hell when you died if you didn't accept Jesus, regardless of your sins or the lack of your sins. That was the key to hell, which sometimes seemed fucked up to me. It's like, wait a minute, I could be Ted Bundy, accept Jesus, and go to heaven.
Well, what doesn't make sense too is I thought Jesus died for original sin.
I brought that up to a Christian friend, the city council guy, Clarksville.
Yeah.
Well, running city council. And he disagreed, but we never got a chance to actually talk about it. I wanted to talk about it. Well, next time I see him, I'll actually try to talk about it to him or I message on Facebook. But I actually wanted to have that. He's like, well, no, not really. But unfortunately, there was a bunch of people around who were new, so we didn't want to start getting into a debate about religion.
No, that's
but
not
we
good for
we will
business.
At a later time. We can talk about it.
I
It's
love
fun
to talk about religion. I love religion.
And that's what that sounds similar to me. Is the idea of, well, when do you become a moral agent, and the idea of, well, when do you accept Jesus? Because if you die at the age of 2, well, do you go to hell? I would say it's kind of fucked up to go to hell. You didn't really get a chance.
Right.
And then I even once said, and I got shut down by my church, I said that, wait a minute, what if someone went through their whole life never hearing the message of Jesus?
Right. What if they're born on another planet? Is there space Jesus?
Well, that gets into, I'm just sticking to Earth here.
Sorry.
that really gets out into, that's a whole nother show. We can get into it.
I'll sit down.
But my point is, what if someone goes through their entire life and never hears a message of Jesus? Now, that doesn't necessarily apply to moral code, because we agree with Paul's the Stay Awake statement. Sorry, and that's when you become a moral agent, or when he said moral code begins to form, not necessarily when you become a moral agent.
Right.
Because it's not like, hey, I won't kill myself. I'm a moral agent now. I understand right and wrong completely.
But
no, you don't.
I see it as your personal moral code. I have more respect for someone that takes it to heart, or they have it and then they found something and they relate to it and they use that as a vehicle to do good, not to attack, not to aggress. And that's what I see a lot. And words aren't violence, it's just words are probably the most violent.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can't choose to unhear. You can choose to not listen. And that's what a lot of people do. Because a lot of people think, actually, I don't know what a lot of people think. It seems to me, through my observations, that a lot of people think we're full of ourselves, and we're just being assholes, and we're putting our take out there. We're trying to assert authority over an idea. But, this is from one of my favorite songs from Nujabes. It's called Think Different. And it's probably really hard to read. But what it says is, I ain't better than you. I just think different. That's truly what I believe. That's how I go about all of this. I always try to offer something different. I always try to mix it up. I always try to question your authority, my authority. And not to boost myself, even though a lot of people take to the idea and it looks like it's promotion. Okay, so I'm promoting peace. Fuck. I'm a dick. Man, maybe I'm trying to take all these different ideas and make it all work together. Because I can step outside and take a look. Sometimes I'll get really heated though. Sometimes if I don't like people being called names directly. I try not to. Sometimes I lose my shit. It happens. And that's why I don't hold anything against anyone. especially when you can tell they're just clearly confused. They're just clearly not listening. Um, and that's what makes it so sad.
Shh. That's gonna be annoying.
He's not. He's not annoying.
Polo, hush. One more time, and I'm not gonna do anything, but then I'll hit you.
Hey, are you reasoning
What?
with the dog?
I am reasoning with the dog. And actually, he's going down now. So yell his name. Pet him. Calm it down. He barks at everything. I live in a small town, but there's like a lot of people bunched into one area. So every 5 minutes he barks at something.
Right. Where was I going with that?
Well, we do have another comment.
Yes.
It's some Stayed Awake, and we're gonna get into religion a little bit.
Cool.
All right.
I love it.
He said Romans 1:20. For since the creation of the world, God's indivisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse. That was probably in response to me saying, what if I never heard the message of Jesus?
Right. Right. But so that's basically saying you ain't got no excuse. And that's a little scary.
I disagree. I absolutely disagree. For some full disclosure, I do not believe in any sort of, how do I put it? I'm not agnostic. I am an atheist. I don't believe in any sort of higher being, rather.
A conscious entity. A conscious entity.
There you go. Conscious entity. That's a lot better way to say it. Because there is a higher, the universe, everything.
Everything.
You can't fuck with that. It doesn't care about you. It goes with you. Whatever.
Universe.
If there's a hurricane outside your house, there's nothing you can do about it. Right. You better leave. That's my point. There's nothing. I don't think there's anything to really pray to, anything like that. Because a lot of times I say, well, I'm an atheist. I get this. Oh, so you hate Christians? Well, no. I'm not an anti-theist.
A lot of times I'll have better conversation with Christians. I actually don't get along with atheists because they're usually the worst statists.
Yeah, I hate they're worst statists, and I hate preaching atheists. They drive me crazy.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you're a preaching Christian, you're basing it off a certain philosophy, and I can entertain that idea. But if you're a preaching atheist, you're not really basing it off any philosophy. You're just knocking philosophy, and I'm not going to sit there and just knock philosophy.
And it's usually based on some state metric, and it's just like...
Right. Now, if you're talking about how the world was, or how the universe was created in science, I'll go with you on that. But I don't think that's relevant. And the one thing I hate from I do every once in a while get it from one of those stuck-up Christians, and I normally find, this is not correlation doesn't equal causation. You're saying all Christians. No, I'm not. I normally find that these Christians, like the one I told you about at my dojo,
right?
Two I told you about at my dojo, they are the ones who like just either recently came to God, or they don't really practice what they preach at all.
Right.
But I find the ones that practice what they preach, even some of the preachers, and the ones who understand a lot about the Christian religion, they don't give me that instant kickback. But the instant kickback I normally get is, well, how do you think the universe was created? I don't need to justify to you how the universe was created in order to make this statement. I don't believe in God.
But I can.
You can, but I don't need to. And I'm not going to, because I'm not going to entertain if you come at me with that, and if you try to witness to me, by the way, and you're one of these people that say the same generic thing, I'll get to you, that your preacher taught you to say in church, I already know what you're going to say. Because I voluntarily went to church for a very long time. So don't come at me like that. Waste of time.
Right.
I will talk about religion all day with you.
And I used to think that, actually I used to say this, I'm going to refute it now. I used to say, people ask, when does life begin? Well, I used to say, well, began with the Big Bang or whatever. But we really don't know that. Life begins with awareness. Awareness. It's crazy, right? It's being aware of yourself, being aware of another, being aware of what you're unfamiliar with, what looks strange or dangerous, and taking all of that awareness and making a claim and running it through the ringer of all the things against you and running it with everyone that works with you and everything you'll never know until death. Ahataba etehebe.
Yep.
Oh, it's the DBAD. It's the DBAD.
All right, so I got 3 more comments from Stay Awake. It's basically Stayed Awake and me watching. Those are the 2 watching.
Right.
Uh,
That's fine.
Objective morality. Actually, wait. Let me skip. I'm going to skip to his last 2 comments and get to the 3 comments away, just because they're more relevant to what we were just talking about. Yes, it's saying you don't have any excuse, but also that you can know Christ without hearing the word.
Oh, I get it.
I only put the verse in the answer as an answer to your statement about people not hearing the word, which is what I thought.
I get it. I get it. Because Christ isn't limited to Christ. Christ isn't limited to Christ. You can still be like Christ, even if you've never heard the word Christ, even if you've never read the book, even if you don't know the Beatitudes, even if you don't know the stories. You can still carry yourself with kindness, or with love, or with respect to everyone. All inclusive. What did Jesus do? He sat with sinners and saints all together at the same table. They made no judgment. Why? Because the ones we think are evil, the ones we rail against, those are the people that could probably use the most love. And if you don't upcycle, if you don't take it, and this is what I do personally, I don't actually expect it of anyone else. I try to grant benefit of the doubt. I try to absorb a lot of the hurt and a lot of the anger and a lot of the whatever, even if I have to pull it out. Because if you don't do something with that energy, it just repeats and it repeats and you continue suffering. Me, I take the Buddhist approach. All life is suffering. It's the same concept. It's not unlike Jesus even.
All right, so I got 2
I'm
things.
not saying I'm Jesus, but I'm saying it's
Right. I got 2 things. I can either go to Stay Awake comment about objective morality, or I can give you some breaking news live from the Agora.
Breaking news live from the Agora.
All right, so breaking news live from the Agora. CPD, which is the Commission on Presidential Debates, invites Hillary Clinton and Donald J. Trump to debate. Let me go down here a little bit and just read part of it. With the assistance of Dr. Newport, the board determined that the polling averages called for in the 3rd criterion are as follows. Hillary Clinton 43%, Donald Trump 40.4%, Gary Johnson 8.4%, Jill Stein 3.2%. Accordingly, Hillary Clinton and her running mate Tim Kaine and Donald Trump and his running mate Mike Pence qualified to participate in the September 26th presidential debate and the October 4th vice presidential debate. Respectfully, no other candidates satisfied the criteria for inclusion in the September 26th and October 4th debates.
On whose
The criteria
authority?
will be reapplied. The criteria will be reapplied to all candidates in advance of the 2nd and 3rd presidential debates. There you have it, folks. Gary Johnson will not be partaking in the next debate on September 26th, October 4th. However, they will reapply the criteria to the 2nd and 3rd, so there's still a chance, Gary Johnson supporters and libertarians, of people who want to watch. And here's the thing. I even signed the petition to let him debate. I did. And here's why.
You signed a piece of paper?
Right. Oh, my God. Here's why I signed the petition. Because I want people to see more than just Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. I feel bad for people who have to watch just that. Then again, I also feel bad for people who have to watch Gary Johnson as a libertarian.
Right.
But I want them to see more than just this shit. Because that's what it is.
Well, that's critical. That's critical.
I'm in status because I signed a petition for a presidential.
That's violence, man.
But,
Actually, I haven't seen that argument for a long time.
no, I haven't either.
I remember it
It
vividly
was it
though.
was popular for a while, but then it
Maybe
died
it's the
out. And it was when
Mandela effect, man. Maybe it never happened.
right, it might be, or it might be that they know Gary Johnson's not a libertarian, and most anarchists probably aren't thinking about voting for him. However, a McAfee or a Peterson maybe they were thinking about voting for him, even though Peterson's a Republican. All right, let me get to State Awake's comment from before. If objective morality is based, he says objectively, is based upon the objective goal of living, but yet you can choose to not live, then is living an objective goal? If it isn't, then how is morality, once again, objective?
That's a very good argument that it's not. Because everyone
Right.
has to have their own reason to live. I can't give it to you. I can't give it to you, and I won't. I've talked to people who are suicidal. That's the thing too is suicide. I addressed it in that first video, but our audio quality was all fucked up or whatever. But it's not a dirty word. It's not something we shouldn't talk about. A lot of people are real hush hush about it, but it's important to talk about because everyone thinks it. If you go to the psychologist and you fill out the little thing, and have you had any suicidal thoughts, and you check no, you're probably lying. Just saying. And it's not a bad thing. I think it's really important to wonder and to make that choice to be here. Because we need your help. Even though no one's watching. I don't care. And that's. You gotta have your own reason. You gotta have your own reason. You gotta make your own decision to be here. Otherwise, you're basically signing yourself up to be a tool of some word in a book. I don't care whether it's the Bible or a dictionary or whatever. It needs to come from your heart. And that's really the strongest idea. That's what keeps everybody. That's what keeps me going. If I ever lost that, well, I wouldn't be here. Was there another part of that I'm missing? I feel like I skipped over something.
Let me reread it to you. If objective morality is based upon the objective goal of living, but yet you can choose to not live, then is living an objective goal? If it isn't, then how is morality once again objective?
Yeah, no, it's
Nope.
not.
Morality isn't objective.
No, and that's the thing too is there's no objective. Whether you believe someone will punish you in the afterlife or I don't think a lot of people actually do really believe that because you never think that you're the wrong one. There's very few people that ever use the concept of hell or heaven as a vehicle to judge themselves. I'm going to hell. Yeah, as a joke. But I don't think there's any if there's no way to objectively enforce it, and I mean really objectively, the nap won't work. The nap won't work because even in situations of abortion. And by the way, I don't I don't agree with abortion. You could actually call me pro-life. Like I would consider every which way you should try and preserve that life. Personally, if you're a mother or the father and you're both involved, because at the very least, because birth can even be considered involuntary, you should be really conscious of what you're doing. Because if that person that you created, and I don't care, from conception you can call it a human being. It's fine. It doesn't change anything for me. If they just wake up one day and then they regret everything, well, wouldn't you feel like a dick?
See, and here's the problem. I'm going through these comments again. These guys keep saying it's assumptions, and I question. How do I want to say this? Your ability to read, your ability to listen, because you don't see fucking deaf. And you're not blind, and you're not deaf. That'd be a whole different story. We could do the Sovereignty Network in Braille. I'll do it. Fuck it. Let's do it. Let's do it. There's an idea.
How do you do it in Braille?
Huh? Well, you'd have to write it out
and print it.
and you could put it in Braille. Yeah, you could actually do that.
A 3D printer.
Ooh.
Live stream Braille. Holy fuck!
Holy shit. Well, they can't touch it, dude.
No, if they have a printer, imagine a screen and it bumps out and it can just change.
And it bumps out.
And
Braille?
you can feel it as it scrolls.
Oh. We got it. Who's all watching? I don't want people stealing our ideas.
Ideas
right,
are
so anyway.
property. Please, if you want to take that idea and run with it and create it, please do.
Please do. Anyway.
Don't even give me credit. I don't want it.
No, you don't have to because there's evidence and we just came up with it. Because a lot of people are sitting there, and here's one. I don't understand the point in rejecting anarcho-capitalism or even just the term because some ANCAPs are idiots. I didn't reject anarcho-capitalism. I did not. I said some anarcho-capitalists, ANCAPs, are looking less appealing because you have them running around doing these things.
Right.
Some. I did not say all. I seriously question your ability to read and understand what I'm saying.
Critical thinking skills, people. Critical thinking.
Critical thinking. We talk about ANCAPs talk about it all the time.
Right?
And if I say we, yeah, I said we. Like, get over it. Freedom feeds. The whole show. You usually listen to the show?
No.
The whole show with Paul, dude.
The fuck is my harmonica?
You keep saying we, Paul. Don't start. No, don't.
Hey, you in the comments, can you give me a key? C? No.
Alright, so here we go. No, don't, come on. We got about 20 minutes left. Anyway. I gotta catch up. There's a lot of comments now. All of them stayed awake. Could you please stop? That's right, guys. You just witnessed live. I do get upset with Bodhi, and we do disagree. And I do 100% disagree that he should ever break out his harmonica in a live stream, because it's annoying as shit. And even though we only have 2 people watching, which is really just Paul, it's annoying. Anyway, he's not limited to Scripture. Scripture is also nature. Anarchy News Watch already covered this. Hey, you know what? I just saw the notification, Paul. Psst. Everyone has to make a preference to live. Yeah, there's no objective reason to choose life. Yep. Because if there was, you'd have a lot of fucking people just walking around.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as they realize that like us, they call us, subjectivists or nihilists, even though we're not nihilists. We're more solipsist, right?
No,
Really?
I don't think the entire universe is my own. It's not my own creation.
Why? That's not. I must have a different understanding of solipsism than you.
Yeah.
But my understanding of solipsism and the way I define it is the only thing. It's why labels suck. I could just define it instead of giving a label. The only thing that you can prove exists is what within the confines of your own conscience. That's what I believe.
Okay. Yeah, I think that
was
just,
my idea of solipsism.
I think that's just being human.
Okay. See, and people, this is why it's important to define terms and why labels suck, because we thought
solipsism is like that 9 Inch Nails song where the world's inside your head and everything is created for you.
And the universe is not your own. Let me just address that. The universe is... It could be. Fuck it. It could be.
You are but an extension of the furthest arm of the fractal. Could be.
Right. The universe was here. I'm going to pull out one of my elf-keeping welfare whore sayings. The universe was here, or they used to say, the army was here before you, and it'll be here after you, meaning you don't fucking matter. Guess what? The universe was here before you, and it will be here after you.
That's how we can relate. Wow.
Right? Isn't it crazy? A lot of army shit.
Wow, my taxes went to something good.
Right? No shit. All right, so... Let me try to catch up on the stay awake comments here. Okay, where I'm at with morality among people who don't share my objective goal. He said that in quotations, of course. In parentheses, I am a Christian, so my goal is to be more like God. Okay. Which I don't think is necessarily a bad idea. Is that only among people who share the same goals? So where I am at with morality among people who don't share my objective goal is that only among people who share the same goals. Can we share anything approaching objective morality? But it is still bed on a starting point of choice, not objective compulsion. Based, sorry.
Mm.
But it is still based on a starting point of choice, not objective compulsion. I own my Wii comments.
All right, I'll
He's
pose.
to me.
I'll pose a question back, and I know it might be
Yeah,
a
no, just-
non-responsive response or someone you can't answer a question with a question. You can because everything's a question, really.
Remember who you're talking to. You're good.
That no one shares your quote-unquote objective goals. Even if we agree, even if I say I agree, and Paul, I think we have I think we kind of have the same goal. I do. I really do, but I don't think words can fully explain. We can draw pictures, send them back and forth, and get close. But even then, we're limited to the medium. We're limited to the medium. And the ultimate medium that is our limitation in communicating this similarity or sameness is the body and the mind. And by extension, the spirit, if you want to go that far. And it's not a bad thing. That's that dynamic difference and the conflicts that arise out of it is how we reach and grow and get more people and you know, that's why, oh man, I love it. Monty Python, right?
I apologize for the sniffle, probably, guys.
What?
I was apologizing because I'm sure you can hear the sniffles pretty good in the mic.
No, that was actually more of a distraction.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Dick.
You seemed like you were done, actually.
No,
Plus, I wasn't listening to you.
I think there was a cliffhanger there. But anyway, the idea that, you know, our differences are but opportunities to grow and learn. You know, I wouldn't want to all have the same goal or the same idea or the same language or the same image in our heads. No, I can't possibly think of everything. So if you think of something different, awesome. You know, that's one more piece of the universe that we can be aware of and work together with. I don't know. That's how I look at it.
Okay. I put objective in quotes because it's not objective. Yeah, I understand that. That's why I was saying.
Yeah.
The audience understood it was in quotes, but because there may be an audience later. If you and I agree that we wish to see people have the power to choose their own lives, then a moral code comes into being we can agree with. But the moral code is not objective. It's only useful to put to our shared goal. It's not his spelling at all. It's the comments. You can only type so much at once, so they break up.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah.
And I want to go to something here. I'm still in the Facebook comments a little bit. I don't really comment. Some guy commented one time. He's like, "You're acting like this is some kind of trending thing without your say in it." I'm like, no, I'm not. I was at work and I didn't have Wi-Fi to comment back.
I'm here to say now.
This guy said, "So, is your best anti-nap argument that you didn't create the nap? Parentheses on whose authority?" And I said, "It's a question. I'm not anti-nap." And I want to address that. He's commenting back right now. This is Gabe McDonald, by the way, not a bad guy. Why is it? And maybe Gabe didn't make this assumption. Maybe he's just saying anti-nap argument. Why is it if you're not for something, you must be against it? You must be anti, right? Mm-hmm. What happened to neutral? Like Christianity, I'm an atheist, but I'm not anti-Christian or anti-God. I simply just don't believe or follow it. Okay. But I don't feel any need to make other people not, because I never go out and say, "You're a Christian, let me tell you why I think you're wrong." I don't care. It's irrelevant. I'm neutral.
There might be some confusion because there's two titles. We posted the link and it said DBAD.
This is on Facebook. This has nothing to do with this.
Okay. I was just thinking DBAD Showdown, and then there's one DBAD versus NAP. And
well, either way, DBAD, even if you say DBAD versus the NAP, it doesn't mean you're anti-NAP.
Right.
We're comparing them.
Right.
This is making a comparison.
Just because I root for one team doesn't mean I want the other team to die in a plane crash. Unless they're Metallica.
Okay, he said after that he understands I'm not anti-nap, and he said, okay, I stick to my original answer yourself on whose authority. DBAB isn't bad, but I could definitely ideologically punch holes in it. Well, I can punch holes in the nap too. Now he said that with winky faces and snotty faces, so he's definitely
Oh,
right.
and please do punch holes in it. I would love to make
Right,
it stronger.
right,
I don't get offended when someone tries to rip me apart. Um,
right.
my entire 5 years in architecture school was nothing but watching my heart and soul being put on a wall and get ripped apart.
All right, so I'm gonna go to Ray. Remember when I read Ray
I like
Murphy's
it.
comment?
The rape
Said
comment?
not all. Let me read it again. Not all principles must be first principles, and not all your stances have to be based in principle. I like the color red. What an unprincipled fuck I am. Killing kids is fucked up, even if it doesn't technically violate the NAP because they aren't fully autonomous moral agents or whatever the fuck you want to choose to nitpick or use to nitpick. I just said boom. And some guy, that Chris guy again, killing kids is a violation of the law of private property because kids are self owners in the process of homesteading themselves. Wow. This is why Yankoms think we're greedy fucks.
Yeah, that's why you can't even talk to them. Because they don't even apply humans and property in the same sentence ever. Please, please, what I want you guys to go find an NCOM
Oh, Dave's on here.
or a syndicalist and just talk to them. Just talk to them. You'll understand they're talking about a very different idea in regards to what property is or what capital is. It's not very unlike what we all can probably understand. Whew, that was tricky. I almost fucked myself on that one.
Yeah, this is why this ANCOM versus ANCAP debate. Here's the thing. I don't see people attacking each other's ideas in these debates.
Mm-mm.
ANCOMs are helicopter. There's always a new trend to throw around. There's always a new trend of insult to throw around. Not ad hom or insult, just depends on how you use it. Anything can be an ad hom or an insult.
Well, actually, not all insults are ad homs.
Right, that's my point. Is that it just because I say welfare whore. If I'm sharing an idea with you, it's an ad hom, right? And I don't care if you ad hom me. It's just funny. If you say fucking welfare whore when I haven't really had shared an idea or anything, it's not a debate of an idea. That's an insult.
Right.
Either way, I don't care. But that's my point, is this whole ad hom insult. But I see a lot of ad homs and insults, and that's all I really ever see in these things. But as I was saying, there's a whole new thing to always throw around. There's SJW, there was helicopter, there was sophist. There's always a new, and it's always fallacy. These guys who just argue with fallacies all day. I don't care if your argument's fallacious. I'm not going to just sit there and say fallacy. I might say, well, that seems kind of fallacious because, and then go on.
And then look at it.
Why I think it might be fallacious.
It's a red flag to begin looking at the idea.
Right.
It is a starting point.
I hate people who run around, and you know who you are, run around just going fallacy, and every day they post a new type of fallacy on their personal Facebook page.
Which is a fallacy in and of itself because it's not arguing with anything that exists.
Again, you know who you are.
Congratulations. You won nothing.
A different seed is watching at the moment. I lost the live stream. All right, gotta get back on it. Keep talking, Bodie. Entertain us. We got 7 more minutes.
7 more minutes? I was just gonna whip out the harmonica, but fine.
No.
Dick.
Well, no, we have 7 people watching, so we can keep going.
Oh, perfect.
All right.
Finally, maybe we should keep going.
All right, Seeds of Liberty. I think it's Dave. Yeah, it is Dave. ANCOMs get very emotional. ANCAPs get too emotional. I was about to get on him, but then he said, Paul says, I'm getting very emotional. Reals over feels, depends on whom I'm talking to. That's Seeds of Liberty again.
Yeah. Because, I mean, personally, and I'm going to say this, I don't know if Jared will ever watch it, but when I first saw his posts, when I was first getting into anarchy and stuff, I saw how he was arguing. I saw his intelligence. I looked up to him. I really did. I
Right,
really
I did.
did. And I remember this, Dave, when you had me on as a guest. It was when you first started doing the blabs, and I can't remember what it was. But I was like, you know, are we necessarily limiting ourselves by nature of the way we ask the question? And Jared looked at me like I had 10 heads, and then I made some kind of joke, and I saw you, Dave, just like chuckling, and he just had this dead serious face, and I was like, uh oh. Like I was
He's
just
about to
happy to be
ask
on
you.
the show and get to talk to him finally.
He was about to ask you if there's a way that he could rape children.
Who knows?
And then, from my understanding, Dave shut it down.
Who knows? I ended up bouncing, uh,
Okay.
but
Okay,
and
because
then
it was it the downfall.
it was like the first episode, or one of the early ones.
Yeah, because I
Uh,
used to do blabs.
and ever since then, like I'll drop questions and comments and stuff, and I was always getting hit with animosity, and then the bots, and then the fucking all the fans, and everybody's coming at me with all of this logic. I just kept getting hit and hit and hit, and I was just like, fuck. Like I'm just trying to understand it first, and then it started to become personal, and then it started to become personal when I was called a Riri. And I was like, I'm honestly trying to understand here. I'm like, fine, it's fucking on. Like,
Yeah,
all
blab
right,
blab.
if you're gonna get uncunted, get uncunted. That's
Yeah, I agree, Dave. Blab does suck. You guys should try this though. You should try the Skype to YouTube.
This is great.
If you just get like if you're on a computer, I don't know how you pull it up on a computer, but like the way I do it is I got my tablet here and I got my phone up and I just refresh it every once in a while because it actually said 2 people watching for the longest time and it said
Right.
7, now it's 5. So I think I lost some people when I insulted ANCAPs.
Yep.
It's just normal.
But here, you heard it live. I admitted. I used to look up to Jared. Now I'm severely disappointed.
Oh yeah.
And it's a shame. It's a shame because he's very, very intelligent, and he does really, really good work, and he knows how to use language to drive an idea. But I've drifted from that. I've drifted from that. But I'm grateful because it's shown me my own way.
I need some whiskey.
It's shown me my own way. So thank you, Jared.
Uh, you get on Skype when I get back from the meeting while I drink whiskey.
What?
That's what I need, man. I need, what do they call it? The old man's cold cure? A little Jack and Coke? Yeah.
Oh,
Whiskey clears up some sinuses, man. It does. Just smelling it. Like Jack Daniels, because it's a harder. SoCo is really smooth to me. Really smooth. That's right, guys. We talk about alcohol here on the radio at 4, too.
because we like to pay tax.
Very nice. But, so we have 3 minutes left in our planned stream. I mean, we can just sit here and bullshit until everybody disappears. And if people keep commenting, please keep commenting. Dave says attack from all angles.
And that's what we've been trying to branch out. And
Jared's angle isn't preferred by some.
Right.
Uh,
Right. But it was attractive at first because it appeared very
It
strong.
was. Oh yeah. But this fucking, how does it justify raping children, dude? Please do something.
No one's trying
I'm
to
not
make
gonna
children.
entertain. And then calling me consistently because it is a consistent thing done, Jared. I don't know who's watching, so that's the best part. You have in the past before in the farther past we had great conversations. I even played devil's advocate with you one time on the Constitution. Great. After a while, though, I got sick of entertaining the idea, so I left the Constitution stuff alone. And then I created the Facebook page JerryBot, or Jerry1Bot. Yeah, it was me. Which Jared once asked me, how many Facebook pages have you created about me? None. It wasn't about you. It was about the people who follow you and the people who attack other people who are attacking your idea. Your idea. But when you come back with me with this military oath keeper bullshit, you're not attacking the idea.
You've just limited your audience. Why?
I became an anarchist because of Kosovo, because of my deployment to Kosovo with the military as an oath keeper. I was those 3 things. Deployed to Kosovo military, and an oath keeper. I was actually a member of the organization, Oath Keepers. By the way, a decent amount of anarchists used to be, and some still are. Technically, I still
I think it is, and it's important to open up all of those pathways because search and rescue. Search and rescue. Everybody's going to be found. Everybody will flounder at one point, and you want to be able to extend your hand and get them out of it.
Of course. And that's why, live announcement with all you people watching. If you know what VolVet is, Voluntary as Veterans, there is a page called Voluntary as Veterans, but I have a page, and it was Dave's original idea, called VolVet. Pretty dead page. I had a lot of admins on it for a reason, and those admins disappeared on me.
They went AWOL.
Right. So now I'm getting rid of VolVet. Dylan Robinson's voluntarism. I don't like it anymore. I don't like having the name on it. I don't like that. I don't like Dylan Robinson's voluntarism. No, I don't like it. I also don't like having the voluntarism thing because I feel like it's limiting my audience. I'll talk about voluntarism. Essentially, I still am a voluntarist.
Right.
I do believe all human action should be voluntary. I still believe that. So if that makes me a voluntarist, then sure, okay, I'm still a voluntarist.
But
should be voluntary.
But when the majority of people you talk to just can't even grasp the concept,
no,
you should probably change your words.
I love the DBAD. Don't be a dick.
Everyone can
most
understand
people,
it.
even people who are dicks, would agree with that.
Right. Because most people that are dicks don't realize they are. They think they're doing the right thing.
And then you can lead into that other stuff. It's like it's a lot of times when I'm talking to people about voluntary action, they're like, what about military and police? A lot of times I leave it alone. I don't even go after it because they're not, I don't want to say they're not ready. I don't want to be the judge of their intellect.
It wouldn't be fruitful.
But, right. It's not going to do me any good. If I immediately say, well, police and military are welfare whores and there's moral justification for killing them in the streets, they're just going to be like, oh, fuck you, you anti-American fuck. I also don't want to come off as anti-American because I'm not, really. Mm-mm. Essentially not. Essentially, the original idea of America wasn't necessarily a bad idea. We wrote that Declaration of Independence, and then for some reason we felt like we needed to write more.
Oops. Yeah, yeah.
Because the difference to me between the Declaration of Independence and someone's going to take this and say, Dylan Robinson's justifying the Declaration of Independence. Dylan Robinson's status. Dylan Robinson loves America. Dylan Robinson's an oath keeper. He's a welfare whore. No, I'm going to make a comparison between the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. That Declaration of Independence focused on individual sovereignty, while the Constitution was state sovereignty. Mm-hmm. As soon as the Constitution was wrote, America, the collective, whoever signed it, essentially signed freedom's death warrant in this part of the world.
I have a much better document, and this might be good to end on. Because I don't really talk much about the Agora. My whole shtick. But I'll start with this. Or I'll end with this. Welcome to the Agora. This is not my first ruled collection, as in measured. But it is one of the few focused efforts dependent upon a framework. Language. The English language, as transcribed, written. I would like to use this space, familiar, convenient even, to explore the Croman language system. It's what I've come up with. Essentially, my goal is to learn as I teach, and I've learned a lot. I just added Blaze Ailey. He's a wonderful gent. I've had some great conversations with him. I've developed a lot of the ideas just in conversation, trying to figure it out with him. I've added him as an editor. We'll be seeing some cool stuff from him. But to teach as I learn, as I create. To learn is to observe. To teach is to be example. To create is to exist by acting on the environment. To utilize the natural translations of energy. To own this balance, or to at least be aware of this balance, is awareness of action and reaction by actualizing both as one and the same. You see, The universe does not begin necessarily with a bang. And if I'm entirely honest, I'm yet to be sure it begins or ends at all. What matters? The question is often far closer to reality. The question often bears down in gravity. It is very much physical and metaphysical as one and the same. The question is what sets one in motion to seek openly, honestly, and out of love. However, the answer is almost always no. Or is it that we're simply asking what doesn't matter? The essence is a spiritual approach to the basic scientific method. Again, the universe, yours anyway, exists only so far as you may be aware. This is an advantage, not a limitation, but certainly not a meaningful destination in and of itself. And that is why we begin with one. The first step in understanding any universe is realizing the universe as self. It is not intrinsic value as a unit or convenience. It is the identity of oneself as self a whole. Consider it the first stone into the river. Without it understood and firmly underfoot, progress is nearly unfathomable. Or is it unfathomable? Whatever.
Who knows?
But
all right, we do have 3 more comments. Address those real quick, and then we're gonna cancel or cut the live stream, and then me and Bodie are gonna talk shit about you. But if you're watching and you're in the Sovereignty Network Telegram, I'm gonna re-forward the Skype so you can join.
Yeah,
if you'd like. I'll probably be on for like I could probably be on with you for another 30 minutes. All right, so these are all from Sinuate. I'm willing to walk with people, walk with people and understanding that our morality is a fruit of subjective choice. I don't care why or how you came to that choice, only that you made the choice to seek to see a world where individuals can voluntarily associate as opposed to coercively be forced to associate. Many seem to need to believe that morality, their morality, born from their goal of liberty, is objective, self-evident like laws of physics.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I've got the sniffles tonight, guys.
I can dig it.
Yeah. I'd say that's all we got for you tonight. I don't adhere to principles.
Adhere.
Because I don't adhere to anything but myself. I'm an anarchist. And no, I am not an anarchist because I reject property norms, even though I've never rejected property.
Yeah. I just have a different idea of it.
Right. I do. And here's well, go ahead, Bodie.
Well, it's just the idea. It's my favorite. This is how I even began to look at Buddhism. One of the wise words of Buddha, or however they said it, was, accept nothing as truth unless it agrees with your entire being. A lot of people could use that.
Indeed. Oh, it's freaking out. Okay. But I'm going to leave you with a question. Leave everybody with a question. And maybe we'll hang around for a minute, see if anybody answers. How do you own something? You want to take a shot? Huh? Are you trying to mouth things to me?
No, I was making a cricket noise. Chirp, chirp, chirp,
chirp, chirp, chirp. How do you own something? What gives you ownership of something? And particularly with property with land, the idea of land. If you own they're like down here in Oak Grove, Kentucky. Again, look at me publicly saying where I am, but somehow I'm a keyboard warrior. Paula wants to get up here. Hey, Polo, say hi to YouTube. Nope, nope. You see his butt. Now he's gone. Down here, down the road, on the corner of Pembroke and I-24. Someone's gonna try to figure out where I live. I'm gonna kill him. Oh, by the way, it's
Target
101 Gale
acquired.
Street. Oh, 101 Gale Street, Elk Grove, Kentucky, 42262. There's an 86 acre field of nothing. Been there the whole time I've lived here, about a year and a half, of nothing. It's owned. You can buy it. I forgot for how much per an acre. I think you can just buy a few acres of it. If someone comes into that property and homesteads it, let's say we take an acre, builds a house, makes a little mini farm and a garden, and improves on it, homesteading,
Becomes theirs.
do they own it? Does it become theirs? A lot of ANCAPs, not all, people who believe in private property rights, or say they do. I'm not saying I don't. Rights don't exist anymore. That's a whole other, that's a 5-hour YouTube video right there. Would say, no, they don't own it. They should be shot. And the quick response will always be, well, yeah, you can do that, but someone might come and shoot you for it. Well, I grew up in Flint, Michigan. Someone might shoot me because I'm walking down the street in the middle of the night. That's completely irrelevant. Just because someone might come and shoot you is not relevant.
If I'm in Brooklyn walking through the deepest part of the hood, I might get shot.
Let me give you a JerryBot response. Well, are you saying that if you rape a child and because it happened that it's okay because it might happen? Because essentially that's what that response is. It's the kind of that's what JerryBot would say.
Just because it can happen, it
justifying it because someone might come and shoot you. Who cares if someone comes and shoots you?
Right? Why don't you just stop fucking shooting people?
Right, stop being don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a fucking dick.
It's really simple.
Now we've ran over here a little bit.
Yep.
Let me check the comments. Still do have 6 watchers. Oh, looks like we're gonna have new comments. How do you own what? How do you own anything?
Yeah.
Ownership is born from the starting ownership is born from this starting point, a shared goal of liberty. I don't know that I agree with that. Because a statist can homestead. Someone who hooks on to city water and uses government can homestead. But, Paul, I was particularly referring to land. Because even commies, as us, or not us ANCAP, I'm not an ANCAP. By the way, no, I'm not an anarcho-capitalist. I'm an anarchist.
I'm just a crowman.
Even the commies and the ANCOMs will not take your phone because I'm not using it. My TV stand, I don't even have a TV anymore because it was broke. Some ANCOM's not going to come in here and take my TV stand because I'm not using it. He'd be right, I'm not using it. There's nothing being gained out of it.
You'd probably give it to him.
I probably would. But it's, yeah, if someone goes, hey, man, yeah, because I actually don't have a use for it. But they're not going to come forcefully take it from me because that's where they divide that personal and private property. And I used to think it was a joke, and then I started talking to ANCOMs and imagine this, having conversations about ideas instead of each other, and I gained an understanding of what they mean, the difference between personal and private property. I actually understand it now, like on my cell phone, personal property. Right?
It's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. And we're not using, it's not the idea of property, it's not the same idea. And you're not going to know that unless you sit there and you smash your head against the wall.
Terms. It's like that Telegram group we're in. Let's talk about anarchism. When they say capitalism, I know what they mean. I don't have to sit there and go, well, free market capital. No, because I know what they're talking about. I understand.
I'm not going to sit there and have the same fucking argument over and over and over.
It's just a waste of time. I'd rather I want to gain an understanding of their idea. That's why I'm there.
Right.
I know most of that group is ANCOM or whatever.
Most of them are just anarchists. There's a couple caps too. I mean, it's just
ownership is only necessary if you believe liberty is necessary. State of the week.
Wait, repeat that. Ownership is only necessary.
Ownership is only necessary if you believe liberty is necessary.
We'd have to define liberty.
We would. I mean, this is Paul. I should talk later. but we would have to define liberty. Now, let's make an assumption so we can at least have a conversation about it. And notice I'm saying I'm going to assume. If you said to me, I'm going to assume, I wouldn't get on you about your assumption. I'd say, okay, you're trying to assume something because you don't understand and you're waiting for me to come back.
Right, like if I say I'm not going to leave any witnesses and you say I'm going to kill everybody, I might get a little pissed.
No. Right. But maybe if you said, well, I have to assume that means you're going to kill everybody? Question mark.
It's like, no,
I'll respond. No.
It means
well, let's assume that he's talking about anarchism because he's an anarchist. As far as I know. So ownership is only necessary if you believe liberty is necessary. Anarchy is necessary. I think that's his definition of liberty. True absolute freedom, right?
Wow.
Which really isn't attainable, but we know what we mean.
Right.
And by the way, when we say true absolute
political freedom, essentially.
Political freedom. When I say true absolute freedom is not attainable.
Not having to eat.
Right. That's what I'm talking. I'm talking about these things like you have to eat and have to do this. And I used to make fun of ANCOMs for it. You can go back if you go to Dylan Robinson's Voluntarism Facebook page. You can go back and see some of my old videos where I used to sit there on the computer and comment, and I was sitting there like, I have to work to eat food because I didn't understand it. Mm-hmm. So instead of trying to gain an understanding, a fundamental mistake I made was making assumptions, not trying to gain any understanding from them, and just attacking them. Not even I didn't even attack the idea. I attacked them because I said whenever I hear commies or socialists talk, all I hear is a whiny little voice saying, I have to work to eat food. That's what I said. Those were my exact words. And I was wrong. I shouldn't have. I should have went after the idea, but now I have that understanding. And I know they're not saying we don't have to work to eat food. They understand that too.
Right.
They understand all life is suffering just as
they probably understand it a lot better than, I found a lot of understanding of things that I hadn't quite even had words for. What was it the other day? Oh well, just the idea of means of production,
right?
And how that gets utilized, and what it means to that belongs to the worker. It's your choice to go to work. It's your choice to go to work, for whoever. And when there's an economic situation that necessarily limits your choice, which happens a lot under capitalism, or even you could argue that it's not really capitalism, but whatever. But that kind of hierarchical structure naturally forms under this capital-based economy. It could be anything, really. But when it necessarily limits your choices, when someone has to work 3 part-time jobs just to barely eat, that's fucked.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good thing. I don't want that. And it doesn't have to be that way because the markets are so...
Right, and trust us. Our solution is not Bernie Sanders. That solution. Our solution is not to say, well, let's tax everyone and redistribute the wealth. No.
No, my solution is don't be a dick.
Right. There's a difference here between, and people seem to forget, anarcho-capitalists seem to forget, it pisses me off. It does. That's when they define ANCOM or ANSOC or ANSIN as what they understand as socialism and communism. When it's like, remember when people do that to us when we were ANCAPs?
Right.
They instantly go to, well, the Rothschilds own everything. Well, yeah, and they're capitalists. Valid point. They're entrepreneurs, and they do own everything. And when, I've always said that they're no way that
anarchists.
No shit. There's no way that one person would own everything. I used to say, no, there's no way. And then I thought about it, I was like, well, kind of do.
Everyone does.
Not one person, but very few people do own a lot of shit.
But here's the thing too: is no one has a right. No one has a right. It goes both ways, and that ties back to the idea that we're all in this together. And that's that idea of community, commune. We're in this together, so why make it worse? It's interesting.
It is.
It's interesting because I do like to work with people, and as an end when I was an NCAP or talking with NCAPs or stuff, a lot of time I still work with them. I mean, Dave working on A Brothers logo there. I have all of these ideas, but we can still cooperate and do this thing and have a fair trade, and everybody's happy. Well, fair trade. That's a damn good logo for $15.
No shit.
It's cool though. It's fine because
Yeah.
I love I consider it advertising. It's worth it to me. It's worth it to me. And one, it's worth it to me because I like to see people happy, and I like to see their ideas make it and go do something good. Because whether or not I directly benefit, in the long run, it makes the world a better place, and that's worth it to me. Call me a socialist. Call me a commie. I don't give a crap what you put on me.
I'll wear the shit out of the label you give me, by the way.
Right, and I'll make it look
I
good.
will wear it. We're about to. Speaking of logos, I never finished my point early. DRV and Volvet are going to combine into what's going to be called, I think we finally decided, Veteran Anarchy. It's going to look badass.
Yeah. If you didn't catch the initials, it's the VA.
It's funny as I was in uniform sitting inside of a education center on post when I thought of it. I was being an oath-keeping welfare whore when I thought of this idea.
Lord forbid we reach out to the people that probably need it most.
Oh shit.
The ones that are actually going out and enforcing these things.
They're going to defend the government from you.
Right? Isn't that important?
I want to have some of them on your side.
It's not about infiltrating or becoming. It's about reaching and embracing our brothers and sisters. Tavrish, comrade.
But, Jared, since you called me an oath-keeping welfare whore, and I promised to wear my labels, I will wear my label.
That's okay. I got to use cunt and uncunted. I'm happy.
You did.
Oh, it's always a good day when you can use those words.
I'm almost out. Aren't you ever worried about the army? Blah, blah, blah. No, because no. And even if I was. I do like that there are a few people that do randomly tag me in conversations that involve military and voluntarism and anarchism. Thank you for doing that, Dave. You just did that recently. I'll get to that conversation after this. There you go. I'm an oath-keeping welfare whore. Look at that American flag. Doesn't that piss you off?
It's actually really shitty stitching, but whatever. It's probably made in China.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, this is actually really bad stitching. It was made by fucking Asians. You think it'd be better. Alright, let me do one last check here. I found it's better if you go in and out of it and refresh it.
Let's make awful noises.
Alright. We are going to go ahead and cut the stream, and then me and Bodie are going to sit here and talk shit about everybody.
Yep, because that's,
pretty good.
How do I minimize? Exit full screen. And, well, this was Bodie from the Agora with Dylan Robinson of Veteran Anarchists. Anarchy? Veteran Anarchy?
Anarchy.
Anarchy.
Veteran Anarchy. VA.
Veteran Anarchy. Right? It's good shit. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you for the great questions. Hope to do it again soon.
God bless America. We end on this.